Outside Briar Ridge, Tennessee, stands an abandoned research hospital so feared by locals that even police refused to enter its underground level after sunset. They believed something beneath the building was still alive. The terror surrounding the old Ashbourne Medical Institute began again in October 1997. Contractors arrived to clear the property before demolition. The institute had been abandoned since the early 1960s, after a mysterious electrical fire destroyed most of the surgical wing. The massive brick structure stood rotting above the forest. Its shattered windows stared across the hills like empty eyes. Teenagers broke in constantly, but many came back shaken, claiming they heard whispers echoing through the walls or saw pale figures watching from upper floors, where the ceilings had already collapsed. Most adults dismissed these chilling stories, until workers, during their demolition, uncovered a sealed staircase hidden beneath layers of debris. Buried beneath rusted hospital beds and collapsed concrete, a narrow stairwell led into a hidden underground laboratory. No maps had ever mentioned this place. The deeper investigators descended, the colder the air became. Old surgical lights still hung from the ceiling. Dust-covered wheelchairs remained lined against the walls. Hundreds of cracked medicine bottles covered metal shelves beside strange handwritten symbols, scratched directly into the concrete. But the discovery that horrified investigators most was the photography room. Inside were dozens of black and white portraits showing the same gaunt group standing around patients laid across iron tables. Beneath candlelight, their faces looked skeletal, their eyes unnaturally wide as if they had not slept in years. In every photograph, a silent, pregnant woman stood in the center staring directly into the camera with the same expressionless smile. Then police found Dr. Leonard Vail's journal. According to the entries, Ashbourne Institute secretly conducted experimental treatments during the tuberculosis epidemic of the 1930s. Vail believed intense fear and suffering released a form of energy capable of slowing death itself. Wealthy families funded his hidden research beneath the hospital, where terminal patients were brought underground for forbidden procedures disguised as spiritual healing rituals. But the experiments failed catastrophically. Patients died in agony while staff members began suffering hallucinations, paranoia, and violent behavior after prolonged exposure to the chemicals used during the procedures. By 1959, the underground staff had become completely isolated from the rest of the hospital. When the fire destroyed the surgical wing above them, the survivors were trapped below with no escape. The final truth was discovered inside the last undeveloped roll of film investigators recovered from the dark room. The horrifying family in the photographs were not doctors or cult leaders at all. They were the final surviving patients. Years of experimental drugs, starvation, and isolation had slowly transformed them into the pale figures captured in the images. The pregnant woman had been the surgeon's wife, documenting their final days underground, after rescue crews unknowingly sealed the lower laboratory forever during the fire. And according to the final photograph developed by police, one candle inside the underground chamber was still burning in 1997,